What's up, guys? Spenny. Jeffrey Epstein lived a very mysterious life. It is shrouded in secrecy and darkness. Nobody knows where he got his cash. Nobody knows why he was allowed to skate so many times when the feds had clear-cut cases to put him away in prison for life. And it's prison, actually, which is why we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein today. You see, he was in federal prison in a maximum security lockup. He was by himself, according to the official story, in a cell where it is impossible to kill yourself. Yet he died by his own hand, broke his own neck bones. That's why we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein today. His death, you know, the way you leave the stage is actually how people remember you. You can play a great game, and if you F up that final field goal, right, that'll be your legacy. And this is how people remember Jeffrey Epstein. The prison, suicide, murder, death that is totally and completely a mystery. How could you do it? It's supposed to be impossible to kill yourself in this jail. The reason why is because we know people who shared a cell with Jeffrey Epstein. We've interviewed them, and they told us so. They've been in the exact same prison cell. They described some very mysterious things that happened that night. But now we're learning from the footage that the feds released that someone else was there that night with Jeffrey Epstein. A mysterious orange shape heads towards Jeffrey Epstein's cell at approximately the time that he was murdered, or whatever you believe happened. And we're going to get into it. First, let's go to the available evidence, shall we? Here's some of the available evidence of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. What you can see here is an inordinate amount of linens. This is allegedly the noose he used to hang himself. You know, you can't hang yourself with nothing. You've got to have something there. Why did he have so many blankets? These are the famous shots. This shot, for instance, shows just the preponderance of blankets and linens that he had. It's a very strange thing. You can see here that his bunk bed was no more than 4 feet off the ground. Jeffrey Epstein stood 6 feet tall. How do you hang yourself? Well, allegedly, he hung himself from this little thing right here. And this was the noose. That noose doesn't look like it's been tightened at all. They apparently cut it off his neck. Whoa, how'd they cut it off his neck? It's a complete noose. All of it's mysterious, but look at the amount of fabric that was there. I mean, what were they doing? They're trying to build a fort? Somebody building a tent? This I do not understand. Was Jeffrey Epstein's new thing prison laundromat? Is that going to be the new, is that how he got his billions? Doesn't make any sense. We do know that an Epstein cellmate was a convicted cop killer who was a serial strangler. His name was Nicholas Targlione. This guy right here. Talk about breaking bones in the neck, which is, of course, what the people who did the autopsy said. Wait a second, the doctors are doing the autopsy. Like, how's his neck bones broken? You'd have to be a really strong person to break another person's bone. You'd have to be, I don't know, a serial strangler to break another person's bone. It's not easy to break a bone, but it's damn near impossible to break your own bone by your own hand if all you're given are linens. None of it makes any sense. And so it calls into question this brand new report about a mysterious orange shape going up to Jeffrey Epstein's cell. And we'll show you exactly what they're talking about here. Experts say that there are flaws in the official explanation of why the shadowy figure moved in the direction of Jeffrey Epstein's prison cell the night that he died. Who is this exactly? A mysterious orange shape was recorded ascending the stairs where Epstein's cell was located. Federal investigators previously concluded that it was a correctional officer carrying up linens or inmate clothing. Well, were they carrying up all of this? Good Lord. Epstein's final night alive, Connor McCourt, a retired NYPD sergeant and forensic video expert, told CBS News he disagrees with the conclusion reached by the DOJ's Office of Inspector General. It's more likely it's a person in an orange uniform. Could it have been, I don't know, the serial strangler guy who was on the same floor as Epstein? Just asking questions. He said more specifically, is a person wearing an orange inmate jumpsuit. CBS reported other forensic experts were also skeptical of the conclusion reached by the federal investigators. There's a great deal of importance in who or what that grainy orange figure is. It traveled up the stairs to Epstein's cell block around 10:40, approximately the time that he killed himself, and is the last recorded movement in the direction of Epstein's cell, Metropolitan Correctional Center, before the body was discovered by the guards the next morning. You can see here in the official photos. CBS reports that the second camera's recording could provide critical evidence, but it is being withheld by investigators. We gave you all the evidence. No, you didn't. You just, no, not even close. It also noted that correction officers on duty failed to follow protocol that required check-ins every 30 minutes on Epstein, who was on suicide watch and temporarily had no cellmate. The network reported that the staircase leading up to Epstein's cell block could be ascended without being recorded by a security camera. That's a matter of fact. Yes, we'll show you the diagrams. As a majority of the stairs into or are out of view. CBS reported that this contradicts claims by investigators and Bongino asserting that the security camera would have recorded anybody walking into or out of the stairs. To say there's no way that somebody could get into or out of those stairs without the room being seen is false, the video forensic experts say. And I totally agree with that assessment. Listen, here's the diagram. Nobody disputes this. Red is Epstein's cell, right there. Here's where the prison camera was. Here's what the prison camera shows. You have these three tiers. They're prison tiers. 1, 2, 3 tiers. Here's where Epstein is. Here's where the guard station is. Here's where the staircase going to Epstein's cell is. You cannot see the full staircase, and you can see it, that's evident when you actually watch the video. So here's the mysterious orange blob, mysterious orange figure going into and out of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. You have to watch very closely here. See? You're going to want to focus in on what looks like teeth here. I'll do one with let's do the red arrow, shall we? Okay. See this? You can see an orange figure ascending the staircase. What is that? The official narrative was that the cell was on lockdown and no one was allowed in or out. That still doesn't account for perhaps another inmate killing Epstein because they would have just been locked there on the cell with him. Tucker Carlson did this investigation and said nobody's ever questioned the cellmates of Jeffrey Epstein. We don't even know who they are.
Came in or out of the tier, Barr said. Therefore, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. So let's consider that claim rationally. On the night of August 9th, Jeffrey Epstein was being held in the special housing unit of the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan, the most secure part of the city's federal lockup. It would be physically impossible for a stranger to get in and out of this facility without an electronic pass and without being seen by the countless cameras in place between the street and the locked 9th floor of the building. So if Jeffrey Epstein was murdered, he was not murdered by an intruder, someone who came into the tier. He was murdered by someone on his own cell block, obviously. There were 7 other cells on Epstein's tier, and each one housed dangerous criminals. So if you were looking for a killer, you would figure out who was in those cells. But no one seems to have thought of that or done.
And nobody will answer the question as to who they were. Who were these individuals? So a massive shout out here. A review by multiple experts found that the indications may not be raw footage. Massive shout out here to the CBS investigation breaking down the Epstein jail cell video. Now, we've done a number of breakdowns of this video, but this one catches something that we missed, which was the actual ascending, the actual mysterious individual going into or out of the cell. And it's going viral for a lot of good reasons, frankly. As I've said for weeks, the prison camera video released by the DOJ does not show Epstein's cell or even the stairway to the wing. There's a good graphic by CBS News. This is what everyone's talking about here. DOJ surveillance footage shows orange figure walking up the stairs to Jeffrey Epstein's cell, the last moment seen before his body was found the next morning. The figure is believed to be somebody wearing an orange jumpsuit. Their identity and exact answer remains unknown. So, I mean, could this have been the murderer? Could this have been somebody brought in? Mysterious orange shape raises more questions. Something is not adding up. CBS investigation claims officials have misled the public about a series of details in Jeffrey Epstein's last night alive. This footage that the FBI says is clear as day. Epstein being escorted to his tier, nobody else entering. 7:49 is the first and only footage of Epstein can be seen, according to the FBI. He was escorted to his cell to another. Escorted from his cell to another wing in the unit. There's no evidence he actually went up the stairs to the tier. The FBI stated anyone entering Epstein's tier would have been captured in this footage. This directly contradicts the footage the FBI released. The main entrance to the area, as well as the direct path to Epstein's tier, cannot be seen from the working camera. It can't. It just can't. This is just a matter of fact. So, man, you can see here that perhaps, you absolutely could, and this is the camera, of course, that was malfunctioning that night. You absolutely could have gotten Epstein out. You could have snuck someone else in. It's totally plausible, in fact. This report is really damning and very well done by CBS. And so we're going to leave you with it. All right. Here's what they have to say. I'm just saying there's a lot more questions than we have answers to this. And we still don't know who the hell went into Jeffrey Epstein's cell that night. Who is that? We don't know. Here you go. Here's CBS's reporting. Let me know in the comment section. What do you think?
This was the nearly 11-hour video agents reviewed when they investigated the death of convicted child predator Jeffrey Epstein. Government officials say it's proof that no one entered his cell tier. Malfunctioning equipment meant only one camera recorded the general area, and that camera captured part of the common area, including the officer's station and a sliver of the staircase leading to Epstein's cell. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino.
There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it.
CBS News has reviewed the tape, and this is what it shows. The primary entrance is here. The pathway from the entrance to the stairs is completely out of view of the camera, leaving ample room for someone to enter unseen. This is the last time Epstein is believed to have been seen on camera, but we don't see him walking up the stairs to his cell. Bongino also said none of this video was doctored. It was the original, raw footage from the camera.
We're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
But a review by multiple video forensic experts found several indications this may not be raw footage. For example, at 11:21 p.m., a cursor appears briefly, indicating the video may have actually been a recording of a computer screen. Experts told CBS News the video's metadata, which tracks how a file is created and changed, shows it's made from two clips edited together. Then, at 11:58 p.m., the video suddenly jumps to midnight, and the aspect ratio shifts. Here's U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
There was a minute that was off the counter, and what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
But a government source familiar with the probe told CBS News the FBI and other agencies are in possession of a copy of the video that records with no interruption.
These inconsistencies, while not contradicting the conclusion Epstein died by suicide, do introduce questions that the government so far has declined to answer. The Department of Justice, Adriana, has not responded to our request for comment.